Human, you're supposed to greet my melons. Not my hand, it's custom. Alien. The starship's landing bay hissed as it vented the last traces of its atmospheric pressure, and Captain Elias Mercer stepped out, visor reflecting the neon glow of Xylaris Prime. He had traversed dozens of galaxies, dealt with hostile species, and survived rogue asteroid fields, but nothing could have prepared him for the first encounter with an alien culture obsessed with what they called customary greetings. A small group of Zylari waited near the docking platform. Their skin shimmered in pale blue and green gradients, their eyes large and luminescent like twin moons. At the forefront was a female Xylari who towered over Elias, easily twice his height. Her features were elegant but alien. Her upper torso was adorned with a complex bioluminescent pattern, and curiously 2 large orbs, what humans would crudely call breasts, jutting prominently forward. She fixed her gaze on him, and a voice translated by his universal comm system broke the tense silence. Human, you are Elias Mercer. Yes, that's me, he replied, bowing slightly. Protocol dictated politeness. I am Zylera of House Quenthos, she continued, her tone both melodic and imperious. And I believe you have been briefed on our greetings. I think so, Elias answered cautiously. He had been given a simple briefing on Zylari customs. Avoid direct contact with hands unless invited, do not stare at facial features for too long, and always honor the melons. That last one had struck him as absurdly specific. Then proceed, Zylera instructed. Elias extended his hand instinctively. Greetings, Ambassador. Zylera recoiled sharply, her bioluminescent patterns flashing a warning red. Human. You are supposed to greet my melons, not my hand. It's custom. Elias froze, then instinctively glanced downward, his eyes widening. Your melons. Yes, Zylera replied, with a tone that left no room for negotiation. Place your hands lightly upon the orbs. It is a sign of respect, of trust, and of submission to custom. Elias' mind screamed in disbelief. He had read the briefing, but the translation must have been wrong or incomplete. Still, he had no choice if he wanted diplomacy rather than an interstellar incident. He approached, heart pounding, and gently placed his palms on the glowing orbs. Zylera's eyes softened, and a harmonic hum emanated from her chest, vibrating through the air and into Elias' bones. Good. You honor our ways. Many humans fail this simple test and offend House Quenthos permanently. Thank you, Elias muttered, pulling his hands back and wiping his palms on his trousers. That is not necessary. Now, follow me to the council chamber. The corridor inside the palace shimmered with crystalline walls, projecting soft lights that danced like sunlight on water. Elias followed, trying to focus on the conversation instead of the lingering discomfort of the greeting. Zylera explained that her people valued physical acknowledgement of status and presence more than verbal language. Touching the melons signified a direct bond of trust, akin to shaking hands for humans, but amplified by cultural weight. Elias made a mental note to revise the diplomatic manual on Xylaris Prime. Inside the council chamber, other Xylari elders sat in a semicircle, their forms glowing faintly. Each elder's melons were subtly illuminated, signaling their readiness to greet. Elias' stomach twisted with nervousness, but he reminded himself this was diplomacy. He placed his hands in turn, each touch eliciting soft harmonic vibrations of approval. By the time he reached Zylera's inner circle, he was sweating, but the elder's expressions radiated satisfaction. The meeting proceeded smoothly. Zylera outlined a potential alliance against the Draven Marauders, who threatened to conquer nearby star systems. Elias listened attentively, nodding and taking notes, though he occasionally glanced down nervously, reminding himself that this entire culture's hierarchy depended on the exact placement of human hands. After what felt like hours, the session ended. Zylera led him back to the landing bay, her towering figure as imposing as ever. She paused and turned to him, bioluminescent patterns flickering from green to gold, a sign of high approval. "You have performed admirably, human," she said. "Few of your kind respect our customs without hesitation. You have earned the trust of House Quenthos." Elias exhaled in relief. "I thank you. I'll admit I've never encountered a greeting quite like that." Zylera's melodic laughter echoed through the landing bay, a sound that blended amusement with genuine warmth. "Few humans do, and fewer still survive the embarrassment. You are clever, adaptable, and surprisingly brave. These are the qualities we value." As Elias boarded his ship to leave, he looked back at Zylera. "So, just to clarify, next time I meet someone from your planet, I greet their Melons first?" "Yes," she said, her eyes sparkling. "And remember, human, always with respect. Otherwise, you may offend more than just the Council." The airlock closed, and Elias' ship lifted into orbit. He leaned back in his seat, exhaling deeply. Diplomacy in the galaxy was tricky enough without learning entirely new anatomy-based customs. But somewhere in the back of his mind, he couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity. "Human, you're supposed to greet the melons, not the hand," he muttered to himself, shaking his head. "Guess that's the strangest first contact story I'll ever tell." And yet, against all odds, he had secured an alliance with Xylaris Prime, without starting an interstellar war over etiquette. Sometimes survival meant understanding that customs, no matter how bizarre, could be the bridge between species. The meeting concluded, and Zylera escorted Elias back toward the landing bay. Her towering, luminous form moved with a grace that made him feel both insignificant and oddly honored. As they approached the ship, she paused, her bioluminescent patterns flickering between gold and green, a sign of approval. "You have done well, human," she said, her melodic voice resonating in the air. "Few of your kind respect our customs so completely. You have earned the trust of House Quenthos." Elias wiped his brow, still processing the surreal experience. "I thank you. I'll admit I've never encountered a greeting quite like that." Zylera laughed, a soft harmonic sound that echoed through the bay. "Few humans do, and fewer survive the embarrassment. You are clever, adaptable, and surprisingly brave. These are the qualities we value." Elias glanced at her, feeling a mix of relief and amusement. "So, next time I meet someone from your planet, I greet their melons first?" "Yes," Zylera replied with a subtle nod. "Always with respect. Otherwise, you may offend more than the Council." He chuckled nervously, shaking his head. Diplomacy had never been so anatomically specific. Yet somehow, he had secured an alliance with Xylaris Prime without triggering an interstellar incident, or a cultural faux pas that could have cost lives. As the airlock sealed behind him, Elias leaned back in his pilot seat, staring out at the shimmering skyline of the alien city. He muttered to himself, half in disbelief, half in amusement. "Human, you're supposed to greet the melons, not the hand." "Noted."